Welcome to Sounding Board. This is a weekly program completely directed and produced by club members of Soroptimist International of Novato. Would you believe we've been doing this for over 20 years now? It's amazing, and we have so much fun doing it. The mission of the Soroptimist is to help improve the lives of women and girls, both locally and globally. This time, with our program right now, this time around, we're going to be talking about today's library. And our very, very special guest, and I really am happy to have you here, is Gail Har. She is the director of Marin County's Library Services. So, Gail, tell us about your position as the director of the library.
As director of the library, I work for the County Board of Supervisors, and it's really my job to make sure that the library stays fiscally healthy and that we stay a vital part of our community. We have 10 branches, and they're all over the county. We have some in the unincorporated areas of the county, and then we have larger branches in some of the cities, Novato, Fairfax, Corte Madera, and at the Civic Center. We also reach out to people in our communities who can't get to the library. We have a bookmobile that travels out. We have a program called Library Beyond Walls where we can deliver books to people who can't make it to the library. So we serve both the people who come into our libraries and the people who can't.
I saw that bookmobile on the road the other day, and I thought, yay, I saw it.
Well, we're very excited because that bookmobile is now 10 years old and about on its last wheels.
Really?
And we're replacing it with a new green bookmobile, not the color green, but environmentally green, and it should arrive this summer, and we have all kinds of wonderful plans for it.
Great. So how does the library go about assessing what the community wants out of the library?
You know, one of my goals as the director has been to encourage our staff to really listen to what's happening in the community, both in the library and outside in the community. And that isn't always as easy as it sounds, because sometimes people don't really know what they want, or they're not able to express exactly what they want. And often people don't realize the resources we have. They don't even think about us as a resource. So one of the things we spend a lot of time on is trying to get our message out into the community, that we're there and what the different resources we have are. We work with other agencies. We have agreements with other agencies because if they have resources that we can refer people to, we need to know about that. We have an automated circulation system. So we have a very good idea of what books are going out, what's popular, what isn't so popular, and so we use those statistics to help us plan, particularly to plan for the future. We've done a lot of polling over the last few years, and we know that the first thing people think about when they hear the word library is reading. So we emphasize that a lot. We see a lot of demand now for space for teens. We have teens more and more wanting to use the library. And for family programs, we're seeing whole families come in and wanting to use the library as a family, not just as individuals. So,
well, I'm glad we're able to help you get the word out.
Well, thank you. And I think one of the important things we've learned, particularly in Novato, but I think in all of the system, is that people are busy these days and they value their time. So anything we can do to make their visit to the library go smoothly, that's what we would like to do.
Good. What do you say to those naysayers? You know, those kind of people who say, oh, like you say, the ones who are hooked onto the feeling that libraries are just about reading. Well, what do you say to those people who say, oh, the libraries are a thing of the past or whatever?
Oh, I would invite them to come in.
Yeah.
I would invite them to come in and say that every seat at every table is full, that all our computers are full, and there may be one or two people waiting to use them. I would offer to let them come when we're doing a children's story time and see preschoolers or toddlers and their families just entranced for an hour, thinking they're having fun, but really learning about to sit still and do a good job when they get to kindergarten and to do some pre-reading skills. I would send them out in the bookmobile and let them see how she's the only library for our one-room schools out in rural West Marin. That's a side of Marin that many of us never see, and how important it is and how excited the kids are when they run out into the yard and see the bookmobile lady, you know, come every other week. I would encourage them to go to the senior centers where we have people doing story times, you know, with adults and reading magazine articles with them or talking about short stories, or even to go onto our website and see all the things that they can do from home in their pajamas.
Right.
So we're happening, and one of our jobs is to let people know that.
My most recent visit to the Novato library, I was really taken by the fact everything was so colorful and alive and exciting in contrast to libraries of my past. And there was so much activity going on. I was really impressed with that. So how has the role of the actual librarian changed, the responsibilities of the librarian, and how do they help people, especially with this age of the internet?
You know, today librarians have morphed into being teachers. The internet pipeline of information is like this huge fire hose that we need to narrow down so people can understand. If you Google something, you can get 6 million hits, and which is really more than you know what to do with. So librarians used to be keepers of rare information. You know, you walked in, the building was hushed, you went up to somebody at a desk and they had the information at their fingertips. Now it's more like we're teaching you, there's a lot of information out there and we're teaching you how to find it. And that's true. I mean, people think of learning as being school children, and it is certainly true that we help kids learn how to find good information on the internet. But it's true for adults. It's, you know, people come in and they've been prescribed a new drug, or their doctor has mentioned something, or their neighbor says there's this wonderful new paint that you can use on your house, whatever it happens to be. And you want to find good information, and that's what we teach you how to find.
Great, great. Oh, very good. Well, one of the things you had mentioned that the internet site, the website for the library, has all kinds of things to offer, and I do know one thing that excites me tremendously are the ebooks. And tell us how this has taken off and the level of satisfaction of usage for ebooks.
We're so excited about the ebook collection. So we have them for both children's and adult. We also have some movies that you can download and some music.
And of course, this is for free.
This is for free. This is for free with your library card. This is for free with your library card, and you don't have to be in the library to have access to them. You can be home.
Yeah.
And so last year, right around the holidays, we saw a huge surge in our ebook collection, the use of our collection, right after the holidays, because lots of people got Nooks or Kindles or Sony readers for a holiday present. And so this year, we've worked all year, actually. Marin County is in a consortium with the city libraries, and we've gotten together and we have one ebook collection now, which is much more convenient for our patrons. Anything that any library owns, any ebook, everyone can use. So this year we decided to be prepared, and we spent a lot of money adding to that collection just before the holidays, and we trained all our staff to help people who came in with their brand new devices and said, how do I get my library book on my new Kindle or my new Nook? And we've done some public classes with it. The other thing we've done, which has been really popular, is we bought 7 or 8 Nooks, Barnes & Noble's Nooks, for each of our branches, and you can check them out. So if you don't yet have an e-reader,
the actual reader,
if you don't yet have one and you want to try it out, but before you buy one, you just check it out, just like you would check out a book, and we've preloaded it with a mystery and a romance and maybe a couple of other books, and you can take it home and try it. And we've gotten a really interesting reaction to it. Some people come in and say, oh, they love it, and now they're going to go out and get one. And other people say, well, I tried it, and I still like reading a book. Thank you very much. Right. And we say, great. But the ones who seem most eager to try it, it's so interesting, are our seniors. And it's so impressive that they're willing to give this whole new technology a try.
Well, one of the things nice about any kind of a reader like that is when your eyes get a little tired toward the end of the evening, you can just enlarge the font size, and it's just so much easier on the eyes.
Absolutely. Or and I just took a plane trip, and I walked down the aisle, and I would say probably every other person on the plane was reading an ebook either on their laptop or on their reader. So the circulation's going way up. We're planning to put some more money into it next year to keep up with demand. I think our biggest problem with it is that they become so popular. So again, after the holidays this year, we saw a really big surge in use.
Well, tell us a little bit about the actual mechanics of borrowing an ebook from the library. How does it work?
It's pretty much the same. Some of the readers you have to download a piece of software first, and we can help you do that. The Kindle experience is much smoother. You go right to the Amazon. You select the book in our catalog, but you actually download it from Amazon because you've got an account there already for your Kindle on Amazon. So that's really easy. If we do have workshops that you can come in, you can always come in and talk to anyone at any of our desks. They've all been trained to help. The thing that people seem to enjoy is that it magically goes away at the end of the 3 weeks. So you check it out for for a week or 2 weeks, however long you want it, and then it just disappears, just like that old show where if he didn't choose to accept the responsibility, I forget, it was one of these spy shows, his instructions disappeared. Well, your book just disappears, it works just like a book, except it can't be overdue because it just disappears. But we'll send you a note. You get a little automatic email that says your book is about to expire, so you know to read a little faster and finish it. You can put holds on the books just the way you can with a physical book. So when you go online, you can see that maybe what you want to read is checked out, but you can put your name on a list. So we're working it out. One of the interesting things about it is how much in flux the publishers are now with ebooks. So there are times where we can't buy some bestsellers, for instance, as an ebook because the publishers just won't sell them to us, and we're finding that a little more frequently now. Someone just made an announcement yesterday, one of the publishers who had been selling to libraries, that they won't anymore. So I think we're where music was a few years ago. Remember when there was beta and there was VHS and everybody waited to see which one won out. I think ebooks are there now. There's a lot of discussion about digital rights, and so it's going to be pretty fluid for the next couple of years. So what I would say to people is enjoy it, and when the next thing comes along, we're going to help them learn how to do that too.
Well, I have to confess, I did go on and play around with it a little bit, and I have a Kindle, and I've been buying my books, but now I decided I'm going to try the library. And what I found really nice about it was I could put things on a wish list, or my wish list, and just after I researched and found that they were in the library circulation, I could put it on my wish list. Then I could move it up to the wait list if I want to, and then it would actually tell me how many other people had it on ahead of me as a wish list or wait list. Right. And then if I was 1 out of 2 or 1 out of 22 or whatever it was, or there was 17 ahead of me, and it was really nice because I could sort of plan my reading around that. Which so I haven't got the book finished yet, so I haven't got those other things. Right, so I'm looking forward to that.
But we keep a careful watch on those wait lists, and if they get too long, if they get past 3 or 4 people, we buy an additional copy. Oh. So one thing you can't tell, you know how many people are waiting, but you don't know how many copies there are. Right. But now you know in the background that as soon as there are 3 or 4 people waiting for it, we do buy it. We add another copy to the queue. The same way we do with printed books. We do that with printed books also, because we want to keep up with demand. We know people want to read it soon.
Well, I know there are other things available for the home computer user through the public library website. So I know we briefly talked about a couple of them earlier, and they were really exciting. So share some of the things that are on the website for people.
We have 2 programs that I don't think enough people know about and use about, and I just think are wonderful. So one of them is a program called Brainfuse, which is a live tutor for students from like 3rd grade through junior college. You go online, they have social studies, they have math, they have English. They'll help you work problems. You can come on with an assignment from a teacher and they'll help you work through it. You sign on. There's no time limit. They'll spend a half an hour with you. It's live chat. Live. So they hire trained teachers. In addition, there's some in addition to the school materials, they also have some job hunting tips. So they'll look at your resume for you, for instance, and tell you, the styles of resumes change and do you have your keywords in the right place. And there's also a whole section that will help you with the whole Microsoft suite. So if you need to learn, if you've been out of the job market and you need to learn Excel or PowerPoint or bring yourself up to date on something, it's all within the Brainfuse package, and it is free with your library card.
Now, are they movies or what are they?
No. They're tutorials.
Tutorials,
The Microsoft, I confess to not having looked for a while. The Office things are more tutorials.
Okay.
The homework help side
That's
of it
live.
is live,
Yeah.
live chat. And
I'm
it's
definitely going to
also
go check that out.
It's also available in Spanish. So, you know, if you have a student in your house who's having trouble, it's a really good place to go.
Oh, that sounds
The other thing we have that we're also excited about is something called Mango Languages. Mango like the fruit. And there are probably 20 or 30 languages you can learn. They're interactive tutorials, but and there's also English as a second language for people who need the English help. But if you're going on vacation to Spain for 2 weeks and you want a little more than to be able to say hello and goodbye and
now,
where do I buy my wine?
Is that sort of comparable to what's called the Rosetta Stone?
It is. It's exactly comparable to the Rosetta Stone. And those aren't available to libraries. So libraries have all switched this Mango, and actually I've seen reviews that of the different programs that are available, that this one is, the learning style of this is the best. And one of the fun things about it is
Rosetta Stone is quite expensive.
Well, these are quite expensive, but you know, it's very green because we pay the money once, and then everybody in our service district can use it.
For free.
Use it for free. And in September, just a little joke on the side, in September there's National Talk Like a Pirate Day. 2 radio commentators started this about 20 years ago. And so last year, Mango put up a Learn Pirate. And so you could go in and learn to talk like a pirate if you've been invited to a Halloween party and you've got your pirate costume on and you want to learn to talk like a pirate. But both of them are really valuable, and they're used heavily, but they're so important that I think they could be used more.
Good. All right, I can't wait to share that with more people. So in these days of tight budgets, how have the libraries fared with budgets and fighting for every dollar?
You know, one of my jobs, I think I mentioned at the beginning, one of my jobs as the director is to make sure that the library stays fiscally healthy. Everybody knows the problems the state's having today, and the state of California used to give us some fair amount of money, $350,000, $400,000 a year, and that's gone. We were in the first round of cuts, trigger cuts from the governor's budget. We expected it, but that was our literacy money, and it was some operating money that we used for some special programs. Our tax revenues are flat, and we're looking for them to grow very slowly. The really good news is that in June of 2010, thanks to the hard work of lots of volunteers, we passed a tax measure that will last, Measure A, that lasts for 5 years. So that's given us a cushion. And we're using that cushion to try and not change the way we do business, but to tweak it. I mean, we're just like a business. We have to be more efficient. We're looking to use technology to do the routine things so that we can free up our staff, which are the important parts of our operation, to be out there on the floor helping our customers. We've also started doing a lot more partnering with other organizations. So as an example, we're working with the County Parks and Open Space Department this summer on a movie night by the lagoon. And it's something that we couldn't have done alone, but in collaboration with them, we can reach a whole lot of people. And we'll do some story times and they'll show a movie. So that's, or we're working with the Literacy Board to bring back some of the literacy programs.
Now, how do you mean that? You tell a story and then they show a movie?
Well, we'll entertain the kids while it's getting dark, actually. I think
actually reading a story?
Yes. Oh, yeah. We'll have the bookmobile there, and she'll have her big books that she uses to tell stories to crowds.
Excellent.
And so it'll be a family event. You know, families can bring their small children, and they can have a story time before the movie starts, and then it'll get dark, and everybody will watch the movie.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Oh, that sounds great.
So the only other thing that your question made me think about is when money gets tight, it's hard to find funds to encourage innovation. And one of the nice things that happened this year was the County Friends of the Library gave us some money so that we could do some innovation grants. And they were in this week. Our due date was this week for our staff. And we've gotten 4 or 5, and they're really interesting. And we're going to we'll put out a story about them because they've really taken the opportunity to think, gee, we could do something really differently if we had a little money to get it started. So we have...
The Friends of the Library is located right on Grant Avenue in Novato. Tell us a little bit more about that and you know,
Yeah.
the people come in and donate books?
People come in and donate books. The book place is on grant. They raise between $100,000 $150,000 maybe this year.
Fabulous.
All volunteer run.
Wow.
The managers are volunteer.
Now, is that net proceeds?
That's proceeds back to the library.
Fabulous. After they pay the rent for the facility and the PG&E and all that.
We use that money. It pays for all our summer reading programs. So we have a very extensive program of summer reading for teens and for children. And for the last couple of years, we've been doing some adult programming, and a lot of those funds come from the friends. Yeah, they're very generous to us.
I went in there and spent, I think, $20 and came out with 2 shopping bags full of books. I was just amazed.
We have a brand new branch manager in Novato, and she wandered in and she said, and I wandered out with this whole armload of books. Yeah, it is. It's wonderful.
That's great. Well, I understand the libraries have joined the social network. So how do you use them, and you know, how do you work with Facebook and Twitter and all that?
Oh, we have Facebook accounts, and we're making YouTube videos, and we use them to advertise our programs. We find that program attendance goes up as soon as we mention it on Facebook.
Really?
Actually. So people are reading it. We have some followers. We'd like to have more. We've started doing, the teens especially are really into this, and they've started making little YouTube videos, and we would like to do more of that. Actually, we'd like to do some instructional things. So learn how to download a library book onto your Kindle, and in like a little 2-minute YouTube video.
Right.
So we have a staff member in charge of that, and we've started doing some planning around that. The other thing, which isn't social media exactly, but we worked with the county's information technology folks to develop a new calendar system. So right now you can go onto our website and you see all the programs that are happening all over in all our branches, or you can limit it by one branch if you know you're going to be in Novato tomorrow and you want to see what's happening, or you can limit it to just children's programs, so it's much more flexible than our old program was.
Great. Well, Gail, if you were able to look into a crystal ball, I know the library has been changing so dramatically in the last decade, but what would you see in the future? Maybe not that far ahead, but in the next 5 or 6 years, perhaps. Or future.
Well, my one caveat would be, I think crystal balls are like computers and cell phones. You have to turn them in every couple of years because the technology goes out of date. But you know, I don't think the core of what libraries do is going to change. I mean, people are still going to need libraries to help them learn. Whether that's learning to tile your kitchen floor, or it's learning to get your GED, or it's learning to pass your citizenship exam. Access to information. I think more and more it's a community gathering place. We have a lot of people who work, are self-employed, and they want to be around some people. So we have, our libraries are filled with people who come in with their laptops, and they're working on their own laptop, but they want to be in a community. They want to be in a community situation. They want to take a break and look through the magazine. And then I think we have more and more people who are our program statistics are shooting way up too, both adult and children. I think people just want to be in groups with other people. The other thing I think that's going to happen is we'll take the library out more. So now we actually have someone doing a story time once a month, I think, at Whole Foods in Novato. They have a little story area.
I saw that. Is that what's happening over there?
That's what's happening over there. So that's a whole group that probably never knew that, that the library was probably half a mile away, but now they do. And even if they don't come in physically, they've used our services. So I think we'll be doing a lot more of reaching out to the community.
Yeah, good. So if you wanted to leave the audience with any thoughts at the last here, what might they be?
Last
year,
my husband and I go to the speakers series at the Marin Center.
I do too.
And last year, one of the speakers spoke about underwater exploration. I don't know if you were at that. He's a fascinating speaker, and he talked about how they send these little robot boats out, and they bring up Greek urns and vases, and they discover all these fascinating things. And while the robot's doing it, it's projecting live video back to their headquarters, which in this case was in Turkey, somewhere in Turkey, and they had a whole crew of educators there. Teachers on all different levels that were busy creating lesson plans on the fly fly around all the fascinating things that they were digging up in this underwater exploration. And then the next thing that happened was it all got beamed to schools. I think the pilot is in Rhode Island. They have this huge internet pipe, and all the schools are connected to it. And it was fascinating. And I didn't think any more about it. And the next day I went home, and I went home that night, and the next day I got an email from one of my library commissioners, and he said, wouldn't it be wonderful if we had a room in the library where our patrons could sit and be part of that fantastic experience? And so I think that's where the future of libraries is, and I would like to see that happen here in Marin. Wouldn't that be fabulous?
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Talk about lifelong learning.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fabulous. Well, Gail, you have been a fabulous person to have here on our sounding board, and you're a wonderful, wonderful resource for our community, and I'm so glad you're where you are.
Well, and thank you so much for inviting me.
Good.
Thanks.
So, and thank you, all of our viewers, for watching, and thank you, Novato Public Access Television, especially Rick and Leon, for being so supportive behind the scenes, and especially thank you to all my Soroptimist Club sister members for being on the camera and being backstage and being all the places to help make this possible. So I hope you've enjoyed this program.